Okay. If anyone was here 2 days ago, this is kind of what we did, and honestly, I don't really remember where we are. Let's see if I can get it to compile since I switched machines and stuff. You might not be hearing it, but the hard drive is working and stuff, and it died. Yeah, obviously. Can I get a terminal around? Of course, I didn't build it here yet, so it's going to take a bit of time, but that's the good opportunity to review where the forum is because I've been working all day and I didn't follow anything around here. And what did I do? So if I remember correctly, last we met, I've been typing a lot of typos, which ended up being stupid bugs that prevented me from actually understanding what I was doing. But most of the strategy was like move to some place you know you haven't been there yet. And what else? Well, that's about it actually. No torpedoes, no anything. And to be honest, I haven't opened the contest page since then, so let's just go and do that. Is the video readable enough? Because for those of you who are not from the French channel, I'm in the current situation where I cannot change any parameter or OBS will crash. And we do not want that to happen anymore now that we've kind of already actually started. So ranked, ooh, I used to be lower top half and now I'm upper bottom half, which is worse. But I didn't really actually code anything serious yet. Okay, so while I'm getting my local dependencies up to speed, let's try and read this junk again. So yeah, read input, ignore. So for those who do not understand Haskell, just tell me when there's something you don't understand. It's not a shame, and it's probably the case for many others among you. And I'll just say, so for example, right now you may notice some variables have underscores as a header or a prefix. In Haskell warnings, this means this variable is unused and do not warn me about it. That's expected. So that's kind of a marker. So we know from the input currently I only use my current position, X and Y, and nothing else for now. So update known trail, that just means I'm inserting my current position as someplace I do not want to go to again. This line is obviously more than way too long. Oh, and it gets my Emacs looping. Okay. Let's remove that. Yeah, no, that'll be fine. So, reachable destinations from the looks of it is the set of positions around my current position that are not out of the map. Yeah, I know. Shut up already. It's gonna behave normally once the window in the middle completes. So reachable destinations is what's around me and in the map. Possible destinations are those that I haven't been to between two surfaces, and the selected one, so the one I'm going to actually move to, is the first of them because I'm not going to make anything too complicated for now. Yeah, I mean, come on, stupid comments. That's better. Okay, well, that's mostly okay for now. Let's be totally confident and assume my parsing worked. Coding game comments get lost. Well, yeah, 33 out of 38. Okay, so well, channel, I'm counting on you now. What's the current meta? How do I get out of the Wood 2 league? My initial plan, well, let's write it out. Plab. Okay, that's as good as planning any other. So we are currently, yeah, that's right. Status. So movement is so we are avoiding previous position. We are priority, if I remember correctly, it's in this order, which is not anything interesting. And that's it, which is an obvious problem when we're out of moves. What else do we have? Well, let's call them abilities. Torpedoes. Unused for now, which we're gonna try and get rid of for now. So, plan. What's the most interesting? Well, we're not gonna do anything with the torpedoes unless we've got at least a glimpse of an idea of where we want to fire them. So we are going to want to predict opponent position. Prefect, haha, right. Tough day. And I actually haven't used this keyboard in weeks, so I'm gonna get a bit of getting used to why you need to compile GLUT. This is coding game, I'm not gonna do OpenGL. Okay, it's getting closer by the minute. Ooh, done, yay. Oh, does it compile? No, that's too early, that's not my... Let's actually compile it again. That's better, it compiled, so we're back in the game. Okay, action. What did my world domination plan say? Predict opponent position. So I'm gonna need to actually read a bit more of that. So how does that part work? What do I know about the opponent's position? I hate notifications. Yeah, great. Thank you. Click the +1 or blue thumbs up or whatever. I forgot the usual speech for this. Input for each turn. So I figure that's the interesting part. Opponent orders. A summary of the actions separated by a pipe that your opponent has made. Oh, and he may actually make multiple actions. We're gonna need to do actual parsing. This is gonna be fun. Move direction. Power. Wow, I thought. Okay. Oh no, sorry. Power is yeah, like torpedo, not like double power or boost. If that rings any bell. Well, let's parse that then. So opponent orders. Let's officially use them. So this should be a warning now. I'm not using them. Let's use them. What do we want to do about them? Well, the basic thing we want to do about them is store them. So how do we store them? We are going to make ourselves a nice game structure with all the information we want to pass along from a turn to the next. Let's call it info. So for now, what we used to have is the archipelago. Let's keep it. That's actually all we need for now. So this still compiles and gives the same warning. Trail, previous trail, that's part of the information. Okay, so we're in the same position as before. So what I just changed here is instead of passing around both the archipelago, that's a game constant as far as I know in Wood 2 League for now, and the previous trail, which is going to be incremented with one position at every round. So instead of passing those to my game loop, I'm passing them inside a single structure info that I'm, yeah, actually bug. I'm forgetting to update the trail. There. So this is supposed to not change anything. Well, of course, I still lose the boss for now, but we'll get to that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, actually submit. That'll give something to watch while I'm working on the rest. So no change for now. I still get my warning, opponent orders not used. Well, for a very simple use, let's watch. Take a look at them. That's just so I can get a feel of the format, and so I know if there are spaces around the pipes or whatever. Yeah, well, that's enough for now. Just show me my error stream. So I suppose this is it, move E. And every now and then he uses the torpedo, so I am gonna need to parse. And it seems like the opponent is nice enough not to put spaces around. So let's get. So Coding Game Haskell is nice enough to include this nice library here that I never know how to use by heart, but I'll try again. Well, just compile. Yeah, it's redundant for now. And let's see what it's got that I can use. I'm expecting for something like words by or lines by, more of a words by thing. Words by or split on. Words by, I've got a constant. Yeah, words by is the most likely one. So, haha, this didn't work. Now what's wrong with that? That's wrong with that. So I was at turn 45. So we said around 45. That's where we had a torpedo, and this parses fine as we wanted it. So right now, all we're interested in is the move part. Oh, I wonder if I could actually get it. Let's get Haskell to parse the whole of it. This would make my life so much easier. So I would want, it's the opponent orders. Okay, so I want a single order to be. So either a move has a heading, or we are currently offered a torpedo with something that looks like two integers. Now let's try something crazy. and read that, which means we're not gonna actually need the show part anymore. Yeah, we need a type. We need worse than a type. We need this whole expression to have a type. It's a list of order. And that whole expression needs to include the read. And we need the show back, yes. And map read. And we need to derive show so we can show it back. And this still compiles. So this looks like nothing, but it looks like we just crashed because it didn't work. Oh, sorry for the great demonstration here. No parse. Well, before you tell me no parse, at least have the decency to tell me what you didn't parse. And we'll debug from that. NA. Yeah, I suppose there's no previous opponent order on the first round. Let's just check what the input format says about this. NA is used the first turn. Yeah, makes sense. So let's just add NA as a valid input and see how this goes. So surface, yeah, I don't know that either. Let's add it. So move torpedo. We need to be able to parse MSG with a string, and that surface one is not in the output. Hey guys, I've got a specification bug. So where does it talk about surface? Here you go, you will surface in that turn. Okay, so surface. Now what? Timeout. Surface. Oh, surface 7. There's an int. Yeah. To get the quadrant. Okay, this goes to 69, which is as good as whatever. So the parsing is fine, and I do love it when I get to delegate the parsing and not worry about that. Where are we in our world domination plans? Well, plebs. we were at predicting opponent position. So let's do that. Predict it, we need to store it. So the first thing we're gonna do now is store it. So we're gonna need it. So all we need to do is add information in here, which is opponent trail. Well, trail, not exactly. Let's call it a path. The opponent path is going to come to us as a series of, I think I called them headings. So we start with an empty opponent path, and at every turn we store the new opponent path. As well, let's compute it. We're gonna necessarily get it from here. So what do we do with those orders? We'll assume exactly one of them is a move or it's a surface. So we is there a yeah, we know it necessarily is that, but I drank at least 2 beers since you're here, so I'm not gonna trust myself, and I'm gonna take the safe path. So move is find of well, is move of the opponent orders. Opponent orders. Now that I know that the parsing works fine, I'm gonna be so trusting and directly assume I get all of them right here. There. So trace show m and I don't need to debug that anymore. So the move is the move among the opponent orders. There's one or there isn't. Surface, yeah, let's call it the opponent move, and the opponent surface this is not Haskell. Yes, sorry, I'm gonna need to capitalize this a bit. So this should still almost compile. So I'm currently missing 2 variables, is surface and is move. Those are easy. That's is move and is surface. There we go. Different number of arguments. Yeah, if I could at least put an argument. 2 arguments. No, what? Surface int, there's only one argument. Okay, back in this astrocyte, you have no idea the trouble I've been through before I actually got this stream running. Ask on World. Suffice to say, I'm not allowed to touch that OBS window lest everything crash. What was I gonna do? Yeah, store opponent path. So the new opponent path let's do something with it. While storing it is the base of it. So new opponent path. I've got the stores right now. I was in the idea of storing a list of heading. That's not enough. I need a list of heading, yes, but every now and then I get a quadrant information. So it's going to be either a quadrant or a heading. This is going to make my program not type check anymore. What's a quadrant? Haha, it's almost an int. The rest is good. So supposing I've got to move. So opponent, well, let's call that part of trail in its way. So if I've got to move, it's gonna be a heading, so that moves heading. Let's abide with the great rule of parse don't verify. Where's my isMove? isMove here is a function that returns a boolean, but that boolean is not very interesting. I'm going all over that structure trying to find whether or not it's a move. And once I found it, I'll say it's a move, and then I've got to go all over it again to see what's its value. We could be smarter and say when we get a move with a certain heading, if I can only get this, yeah, return that heading. Otherwise, return nothing. So it's not really isMove anymore, but we'll bear with me for now. So what can we do with that? Instead of finding isMove, we are going to, what's the proper invocation for that? It's like an asum of, I'm not sure there's anything. Is there a function? Nothing interesting here. Optional, no, not interesting. Empty sum many. Can we do anything with that? No. Is it just map maybe? No. Yeah, well, almost. Let's not get anything too complicated. So we are just mapping isMove to the opponent orders. This returns us a map, a list of all of the moves he's done. Obviously it's 1 or 0, so we just convert that list to maybe with the appropriate import. What's the error here? Yeah, sure, no errors here for now. List maybe is in data maybe, and type hole. This means no other error. OSurface, same thing. surface gives us a quadrant, so list maybe of map maybe is surface of opponent orders, and we want that is surface to return us the quadrant. Oops, yeah. Quadrant is let's expand. Now we're not. How's that? Couldn't match. Yeah, just the quadrant. Maybe quadrant. Does this type check already? Yeah, we're fine here. So the trail is now gonna be the previous trail. So some we want to call it a opponent path. Yeah, was that the name? Opponent path. I'm using the records extensions here, so I'm not sure of the syntax yet. I'll check it, compile it. Yeah, this is obviously not gonna work. I need a new name for this. Opponent path. Let's only store previous opponent trail, or else I'm gonna get lost. Where's the mama information structure here? Previous opponent path, trail, whatever, path, trail. So my opponent trail, I'm gonna need to define it now, is let's not make it any more complicated than it needs. It's either a move or a surface, and I know they have to be there, else I can make it an error. So let's actually call it opponent. So move or surface, we can call that. What can we call that? We can call that. What's the action that encompasses both moves and surfaces? Uh, move or surface. Moving or not moving. Decision. It's the opponent decision. So this is the alternative or operation when I have two maybes. It returns me the only one that actually has a value. If both have one, well, the first one wins. At any rate, I do not expect to have both return one, so I can say I'm gonna pattern match on this and say I know exactly one of them is here, so I'm taking it. And now the opponent trail is the opponent decisions const with the previous opponent trail. There we are. Opponent path does not exist anymore. It's a previous opponent trail. I need to import those alternative things. Could not match quadrant with heading. Indeed, nor should you. So if I've got a move, it's a heading, so it's a right. And if I've got a surface, it's a left. This compiles. Let's now display what we know about the opponent trail at each turn. It's not showable because I forgot to make it so. That's bet attempt something that compiles. No, don't submit, please. I hope you didn't. It's gonna take forever otherwise. Irrefutable pattern match. Oh my, the impossible happened. So I've got an order that was neither in move nor surface. Obviously, NA is none of them. I'm gonna need to make a special case for that. How am I gonna handle that? I'm gonna handle that. Functional programmers, close your eyes. So am I at the first turn? So that's if opponent orders is NA. Here we go. So I need an isNA operation, which is not going to be able to do better than Boolean. I need that, which means I do not actually need to give any sensible information here. So let's make it an error to actually read it. And previous trail, no. Opponent trail before first error, where? Here, yeah, parentheses. I don't need parentheses, just do it this way. Sure. Okay, I can deal with that. I cannot pattern matched against this. So is NA an entire list of order? Yeah, I actually ought. Huh, yeah. The problem here for those who are still following is that opponent orders is a list of orders, and the NA means an absence of order, so I should actually not parse it as an order. I should parse the entire list as an empty order. So what I'm going to do is remove this completely. NA is not going to be an acceptable order. On the other hand, I want an NA in the opponent orders to end up as an empty list. So what I'm gonna do, well, I am gonna need to parse it, and as far as I know, message stuff is only for the output. I do not suppose it's brought back to my input. Let's verify summary of the action. NA, I'm gonna assume MSG does not come as an opponent input. It's information and it's not a part of the game. That would be a first for coding game to actually give this to us. So let's not parse it. So what was I changing? I was saying I do not want an is NA kind of thing. What I do want is if the opponent orders is exactly the string NA, I'm getting an empty list. If not, I'm prepending that, which means I actually do not need this AFP atrocity here. What's wrong here? Opponent orders. I'm gonna need the opponent orders raw string. So yeah, raw now. It compiles. If it compiles, it works, right? I've been on the chat for some time. What's going on now? Sorry, side chat harassment. So what's going on around here? Yeah, lost a life. Well, it's kind of more or less actually working. So let's take a look at that. Unfortunately, code in game won't give us anything interesting, so let's just yeah, great. Not H trade, just copy paste. It's not that hard. So this is what we actually know. So we know the opponent went west, south, east, south, 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 blah blah blah, and in the end, quadrant 7. And that's probably more or less the same time he shot me, or maybe a lot earlier. So what are we going to do with that? Well, this is the interesting part. So where are what my world domination plans here? Plabs, sorry. So sub-step number 1 is record opponent moves. And in order to predict, what we're gonna do is apply those moves to possible starting positions. To see where that puts us. So let's do that. How do we do that? So we've got an opponent trail, which after this line is necessarily well defined. All we want to do is take all of the starting positions, and at every move, well, every turn, apply what we know the opponent did. The opponent necessarily did either, well, we're on wood 2, necessarily did a move or a surface, which resulted in us knowing either a quadrant or a heading. So how's this gonna work? We are gonna start, we're gonna keep all of them because it might end in handy later. We're gonna store a list of possible opponent positions. So that's the previous opponent. Let's call it a cover. It's gonna be a set of positions. I suppose neither of those is well defined. Let's add some imports. Oh, wait, I've got code that compiles. I'm gonna commit it right now before I forget. What did I change? I'm just parsing opponent action. Here we go. Set, yeah. I'm gonna import. I need a set. Why do I not? Now I've got a set. I've already got a position. Let's just allow me to move those upwards a bit around here. Well, let's just call it data. And we'll adjust the rest afterwards. Is redone. I'm not doing anything with it yet. Well, allow me. So we start. Did I add it to the, yeah, the cover? I need a cover. So the initial cover is the entire set. I want the entire set of the archipelago that's not an island, because I assume it's not allowed to start on an island. You tell me in the chat if that's wrong, but I'm pretty confident here. So what I want is, well, kind of the opposite of the archipelago. So the archipelago has true for every island, so I'm just gonna want every false. So I wanna I'm gonna take the archipelago. I am going to filter those places that are false. And I am going to keep only the indices, and I'm gonna make that a set. That ought to do the trick, yeah. So I have got at every turn the list, well, the set of positions my opponent could possibly be in. I'm gonna take all of those, apply the move I just saw, and make that into a new possible position. So let's add a few comments. So this is parse opponent. Well, we're gonna be call it a decision. Should I remove my starting position too? I don't know. Why should I? What's preventing the opponent from choosing the same one? I have not seen, I mean, the way I implemented my bot, I do not have any kind of a negotiation if I pick the same position as the opponent, so I don't see why he should. So let me acknowledge that. Have I been streaming for an hour? Okay, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. Beer time. You all have a beer. I'm just gonna write, where was I? Does this compile? Yes, this compiles. Where's my plab? Apply moves, yeah, to all starting position. That's exactly what I'm currently doing. So remind me to do that in 5 minutes. Oh, except I cannot touch the parameters, but maybe I can add some stupid text over here. How do I do that? Blah, blah, blah. Text, yeah, create some text. Anybody got a different? That's totally ugly. Let's try that again in black. Am I allowed to have black? What's black in HTML colors? It's almost like that. Is it gonna crash? Tell me it's not gonna crash. It kind of half crashed already. Oh shit, people, you still there? Crashed? Crashed? No, it's not crashed yet. Ooh. Yay. Maybe a few spaces here. Oh, such artistry. Wow. Okay, be right back. I'm back. Where were we? Get that back. And more beer and apply the moves to the possible starting positions. Well, what do we have for now? At every turn in our state, where's our state? You know as good as me, our state tells us the set of possible positions we know the opponent could be in. The whole information game for now is going to be to restrict that set as much as we can. So for now, we're going to be using brutal, naive, yes or no information. But obviously, in the later stages of the contest, it's all going to be about refining that. So for now, we're going to have it simple. It's a set. It's yes or no. We have that covered. At every turn, we have the opponent's new decision. So whether he took a move or was constrained or maybe chose to, I don't know, but I'll see this later. It doesn't change anything for me. As far as I know, it's given to me. The opponent moved or surfaced. So what can we do about that? Well, we are going to apply a function to every known possible former position. And what are we going to ask to that function? We're going to ask to it, does it result in a possible situation? So, opponent decision results in opponent trail, and right now the cover's here and I have not been touching it. So what am I going to do to that cover? Let's update it. So the new update is going to be, let's call it opponent cover, how original equals something. And obviously the new previous opponent cover is going to be that. Let's align a bit so it's not too hard on the eyes. So what are we going to do? Well, it's just a map. We're going to map our function to the set. Where I'm not so familiar is whether or not, uh, let's just browse the set interface. Oh, can I still tag? Browse dataset. So I got a map. That's the kind of thing I want, but I need an A to B. My problem is possibly, so for example, say the opponent is on the left border and moves west. I do not want that situation to result in an end position. So I need some kind of a maybe here. Is there any maybe on the left side of an arrow in this thing's interface? There isn't. So I'm gonna need to do it differently. It's gonna be backlist and whatever. no matter. So we take the previous one. We turn it into a list. Tell me that still works. Maybe it's set.toList. Yeah. We make it into a list. What do we make of that list? We apply a function we're gonna have to define. So it's an opponent move. Let's call it that. We're gonna need to define it. That's fine. Let's cheat and define it this way for now. Yeah, that's fine. And we make it back to a set. In theory, that's all we gotta do. Now we've gotta define this opponent move function. How do you define that? What's its type? This is not helpful. We expect it to start with an opponent's position. Right? Wrong? Where am I? Previous cover. We make a list of it and opponent move. So previous cover is a set of position. We apply opponent move. Yeah, we're gonna need the actual move. What's the move? Yeah, it's a decision. I'm really flaky on the vocabulary here. If you've got any better naming, I'd be delighted to hear from you. Just say so in the chat. So opponent move, we need to give it the opponent decision. What did we call it? We called it O decision, which may be nothing. I'm gonna have a problem here. Opponent cover update I can only do if I have information. So that's a tricky one. There is a lot of things. I don't like special casing, but I'm kind of live. So I'm gonna define ugly stuff just to simplify things here, and this would have to be cleaned up a bit later, but for now we've kind of got to move on. Are we in the first term? There's a very easy way to know that. And that way is opponent orders raw is NA. That's an easy one. What's wrong? Yeah, maybe later. I'm getting there. Ooh, yeah. Getting there, getting there. So what am I gonna do with the opponent move if I'm on the first turn? Well, actually nothing. That's another of those cases where if I'm on the first turn, or otherwise. So if I'm on the first turn, what's the opponent cover? It's the entire map, so I'm not going to change that. So I forgot how I called this. Previous is something cover. Right. So still gotta find that opponent move thing. Stop talking, you're making me unconcentrated. So opponent move is gonna be a function that takes a position and an actual decision. Do I have a type for that yet? I don't know. And gives me maybe a position. So I'm gonna need to give it an argument. Seriously, you have let me talk with that ridiculous message on the window. No, actually, you told me. Well, that's nice. I'm sorry. It's kind of late here. I don't know what time it is in your place. Yeah, get rid of the overlay. Ah, that's so much better. Phew. Tell me about it. So, give it as a piece of information the decision we made, which we have since we are not at the first turn. What's the type of that decision? I don't know. Let's call it W. That's as good as anything. So previous position is a YX thingy. And the decision he made, I'm gonna have to know the type here. Yeah, I know. Decision. What is that decision type? It's an either, whatever. It's that kind of thing, quadrant or heading. So let's make something useful out of it. Either. So it could be a left, which is a quadrant, in which case we're going to check that the position we thought he was in is actually in that quadrant. So position is in quadrant. Yeah, let's do it this way. If that is the case, that position is a valid position to keep thinking he could be in. What's the other case? We've got a position and we've got a heading. In that case, all we gotta do is move it in that direction and make that the new possible place we could think he is in. This is something I've been wanting to do. I'll change this later, but this move function right over here should be the one doing bounce checking later. I'll keep that for later. So right now I'm gonna just guard a post prime, which is the new position, is in the range come on, of whatever the map is. Yeah, it's actually the other way around. In range. Here we go. If that's the case, then that new position is a valid new possible position. I needed to find that, and a few types, one fewer errors, sorry. And pos prime, which I need to define. Move pos h. That one's easy. What do you mean I don't know h? What's wrong with that? And it heading pos heading pos. What? Oh yeah, that's my bad. It's not a position, it's heading here. Here we go. And pos in. So what was that? If quadrants definition. So that one's a bit ugly. We're gonna have to do the math here. Let's do it. We'll do it, but later. Opponent move decision. Yeah, I think I defined it the other way around. Position decision, it's the other way. That's an easy one to change. Okay, so only interesting errors anymore. Pos in, so we want a position, a quadrant, and we return whether or not we think we're there. This compiles, but we actually need to define it. So position is yx, and quadrant is this. And you think I know how quadrants are defined? Well, think again. How are they defined? Don't tell me, come on, this surface. Oh, and I lose a hit point. Okay, that's not wrong. Sector is how I should have called them. So 9 sectors, 25 cells, 1 to 9. So it's gonna be 1 to 9. So 1 plus 3 times I plus j, obviously. It's I is y div phi and j is x div 5, something like that. Bool with int. Sure. What I am trying to check is whether or not quadrant equals this. Let's stare at this very focused until I'm convinced this is correct. This does look rather good, doesn't it? Let's try it first anyway. So 0, 0, we want it to be in quadrant 1. That is because I forgot to put backticks here. It seems like it is. It's not in 0, it's not in 2. That's rather a good sign. I'd expect it to be the case until 4. Rather good. 5, not anymore. Rather good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay, I'm kind of confident it should be okay. Okay, so we kind of, if I'm not mistaken, have a new possible cover. Let us do something crazy and crash when we think we know something interesting. What is something interesting? Something interesting would be we know where the opponent is. Do we need that much? The only interesting. Oh my god, nobody told me anything up to now. This is not the priority. I don't want to predict opponent position. I want to do something more interesting than crash when I'm stuck. Well, too bad. I'm doing torpedoes for now, so I'm doing torpedoes for now. So I am applying the news to the possible positions. I want to do something interesting with it. What's something interesting? Fire. How do I fire? Well, okay, let's first stabilize on trying to know whether or not I have a good idea where the opponent is. How would I quantify? Could I just try this for now? Yeah, I'll try this. So he's still probably gonna blow me out of the water. But that's not what's interesting. What's interesting is this list here, which is the possible opponent positions. He shot me in 27 moves. Wow, he's good. The interesting part is, yeah, is this one reducing? Ooh, that's not very reduced. Where did he start? Why does he have that short a trail? Why is he never moving? Move, move. Yeah, well, he knows everything about me, and that's just not fun. Let's try it again. What I want to know is whether or not that list is reducing. It's gonna be kind of tedious to just work through it, so what I'm gonna do is cheat and ask the program to tell me, well, the new cover, and please tell me by how much it reduced. So that would be the size of the previous cover minus the size of the current cover. I like this to be as positive as can be. Zero, zero, zero. That's not that good. Zero, zero, zero. Zero, zero, zero. Zero, zero. Has it ever been non-zero? Something's wrong. Can't be always zero. I mean, he... Or can it? Well, let's first check. It always has been. $135, that's a lot, but that's the first round, isn't it? So before, this is the before one. Code and game give us a tolerable interface already. Before this, not bad, and after this. Yeah, well, it does seem like a lot better. I'm kind of remembering I did not remove the islands out of this, which should really be reasonable. So let's do that too. And what else am I missing? Oh, that's gonna be fine for now. So I'm missing, if the opponent moves, it's gotta be in range. Sure, but that's not enough. I also need it to be not an island. So I'm gonna need the island information, but that's free. I'm gonna need the archipelago. Let's put it first. Not needed here, and totally needed here. It's gonna be an error at point of invocation. Yes, here it is. So flip up, move archipelago. This is not as readable. That is, this is not a Can I actually say this? This isn't as readable as it used to be, but let's try and make it better. I like this. This is better. Here we go. What was I doing? Nothing specific, just trying again. Zero, one, this is better, one, this is better, one, this is better, one, this is getting better all the time. Two, this five, this is really getting a lot better. Well, it's not perfect, but it's really much better than before. So now we're gonna need actually shoot, and I have no idea how this is done, but I'm gonna check. So there's appears to be some kind of torpedo power here. I assume I can shoot when it reaches 3. Each turn. Blah blah blah. Actions. Pipe. Move. Surface. Torpedo. We need 3 charge actions to be ready. When fully charged, it can be fired at an arbitrary water position within a range of 4 cells. And this is a Manhattan distance. The torpedo can go around islands. Well, that's advanced, but not through them. Hi, please do not make me write some pathfinding. The damage in the explosion is 2 on the cell itself and 1 on all the neighbors, including diagonals. You can also damage yourself, which would not be a good idea. Okay, well, we'll do something stupid first and refine it later. So, how does it work? My action move
N.
torpedo. No, that's not what I'm looking for. So, game output. I want to know. Cooldowns. Don't say cooldowns. What does that even mean? Let's print it and see what it means and try it out. So torpedo cooldown. Let's use it. Got a warning, got a warning. Torpedo cooldown. Well, now we've got a hunch. This is probably okay. Let's write our torpedo cooldown and try and build an intuition of what it actually means because just saying we have a cooldown is kind of not that informative. So says, oh, calm down, calm down. Beginning cooldown is 3. Yeah, I know. Then cooldown is 2. Then cooldown is 1. Then cooldown is 0. Okay, so I suppose 0 means I can shoot, and I haven't been monitoring the chat that closely, but I think I kind of read that that even if the cooldown is 1, you can actually charge it and then shoot. Well, let's be reasonable for no, let's not be reasonable. I mean, come on. Let's try both and see which one works. What we like to do, so cool torpedo cooldown. Yep, it's an int. We have it. So what we want to do is shoot at the position we think the opponent is going to be. What even is the format for that? That's the output for 1 turn. So move. We're supposed to say torpedo. Oh, actually, I already was. Okay, I forgot about that. Torpedo. So that's the move part. We obviously are going to only charge the torpedo for now. And every now and then we're going to want to fire the torpedo. So how do we know whether or not we want to fire the torpedo? That's going to be a block of its own. So, what's an interesting torpedo destination? There are two factors to consider. Do we know exactly where the opponent is? And do we have a hunch? How are we going to want to handle this? Let's put this in our plan. Plab. But where? So, where do we want to fire? Know where opponent is? Fire there. That's obvious. What if we don't know where he is? We could have an idea. The thing is, we can't fire everywhere, anywhere. Anyway, we can only fire at those places that are at a range of 4 by BFS. So we do not have an actual probability network yet, but we are able to have a list of the possible places he might be. And out of some of those, we could still fire at the intersection. So that's probably the best stupid strategy we could start with for now. Let's not even do that yet. We know we're limited to a range of 4. We obviously are going to limit it to the possible places he is. Well, we call that the opponent cover. And we need a safeguard. Make more damage than we can take, which is not that obvious because we do not necessarily know where he is. We know how much damage we're going to take. We only have an upper bound on what he'll take. So this is going to be something to keep in mind. About that, so, well, how about we check our range for now? What's our torpedo range? It's the exact breadth first set of cells reachable from my current position. I have long forgotten how it was called. Oh, XY, yeah. Well, let's call it my boss. So breadth first from I'm gonna need to find it, but that's fine. I'm gonna need the archipelago. Starting position, my boss. Goal is depth of 4. Who cares? I only have 1 for now. I'll put it in the function. And that's actually it, isn't it? archipelago list my position, and it's gonna give me a set of resulting positions, which I'm gonna write right now. So my BFS takes an archipelago, a position, and returns me a set of position that I can reach with a torpedo. Let's call it position 0. So go empty set, blah blah blah. It's a breadth-first search on a small map, so I'm never gonna need any advanced structure here. So I'm just gonna put P0 here. So go on closed set and position and a Q. So if P is a goal position, so I am gonna need some kind of a depth here. So if my position has a depth of 4, well actually that's it, then return it, but keep doing the good job. So close, closed prime Q. Go closed of if it's not 4, yeah, well let's call it D. That's actually not even right. The first thing I've got to do is check if it's in range. Because if it's not, then just skip it. If I'm there, return and go on. If I'm not there, just branch, and that's about it. So, list of boss, yes, because that's not, well, because return it, but make it a set afterwards. R is not known yet. Yup. R is this list. I've been needed quite a few times. CL prime is CL, but insert into it P. Yeah. Now that's a good one. What is the type of CL prime supposed to be? It's supposed to be a set of boss. And a queue of pass with a depth, and return to me a list of pass. So CL prime supposed to be a set of pass. Yeah, it is. What makes you think it could be an int? That's obviously because I put it backwards. Okay. One fewer warnings. I'm not using that. Yeah, obviously. Stupid me. That was the whole point of this. If the position is in the archipelago, skip. Non-exhaustive. What am I missing? The empty queue. That's fine. If we're done, we're done. So we've got the set of places we covered. We're going to take the intersection with the opponent cover and shoot at the place that makes us minimal damage. So we have the opponent cover. How did we call it? Up, opponent cover. So how are we going to handle this if it's only one? And I mean, I'm not going to care about mass suicide for now. I'm just going to care about making the edge, and that means I do not want to take guaranteed more damage than the opponent. Or maybe I don't actually care that much, and all I want to do is shoot at him and see if that gets me in wood 1. Yeah, that's enough for now. So shoot at the furthest place. I could have. So torpedo shoot is going to be take the, maybe I've got a blah 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 intersection. I've got the intersection. Among this intersection, I'm gonna take the one that's the furthest away from me. I'm gonna need a distance. So maximum by, I need an ordering. This to my pass. That's where I want to shoot. Comparing, I have comparing. I need to have a distance, so this is going to be near this. This from AB to CD is the sum of C minus A plus D minus B. Only one error left, could not match maximum by comparing. Oh, this is gonna be tough. What does this error mean? Torpedo torpedo shoot damage cover. Damage cover is supposed to be a set of positions. That's good. So I've got a list of position. What do I do with this? I can take a maximum by, which is supposed to be an AA ordering. List of positions. So position ordering. Comparing is A. Comparing is. Why do you not have a comparing type? Well, yeah, that's kind of, is my post the correct type? What am I missing? So this is supposed to end up in a maybe position if I've actually got one. Oh, maximum by does not give a list. Yeah, my bad. I want to sort by, but that's going to give me the first one first. So I want a down before that. Okay, I've got everything. Uh, where I possibly could want to shoot, but this is not enough. I'm gonna want to shoot only if I've got enough power. Or is it actually a mistake and he's gonna... Who cares? Can I just shoot if I can? I'll try that. With a maybe. So this is the move part. Move action, that's here. I'm gonna want, I never remember those functions. Intercalate, yeah. Intersperse. Uh, both are fine actually. No, intercalate is the one I want. Okay, so I'm gonna intercalate a colon among the list of a move action and possibly a torpedo shoot. So ironically enough, it's gonna be maybe to list a torpedo shoot, which I'm gonna have to make into an action. How do I write this? It's maybe pause. Torpedo shoot position. It's a maybe position. So torpedo action is going to be if I get a position. How is it going to be spelled? My action is torpedo with a position. So torpedo show X, show Y of torpedo shoot position. This is supposed to be a maybe string. Still fine. So with that torpedo thingy, it's a maybe string converted to a list, so it's a torpedo action here. And this compiles. That's fine, right? Target X, target Y, target blah blah. Okay, who knows? This could work, huh? Did I shoot any torpedo here? He lost the life because he surfaced. Let's take a look at that slowly. Move, 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 move. He shoots at me. I'm still not shooting at him. I probably ought to debug a few things around here. Let's add a bit of debugging information just to be sure. My torpedo cover, I might want to check the size of that. I want to know the size of my torpedo cover, and I want to know, well, the entire torpedo chute position. I'm always getting 0 for both, which is a bad sign. I am probably going to want to check what I know about the opponent cover. So, torpedo, opponent, and position. I'm missing one. Torpedo cooldown, yeah. Getting 0 for a torpedo cover is not a very good sign. So I probably messed up my breadth first search. Oh, I'm not only wanted the places where D is 4. I also want all the ones in between. That's a first bug. So if D is more than 4, stop and don't take it. So out of range, skip. On an island, skip. Out of range, skip. Otherwise, take. That's the first likely bug. Let's see the rest of them. How am I still getting a 1 for a torpedo cover when I'm like here? That doesn't make too much sense for me. Cooldown is like 0 forever. Do I always get a 1? There's still a big bug in my BFS. What's that one? It's getting late, so we start at this position. Out of range, forget it. On an island, forget it. Further than 4, forget it. I'm forgetting the interesting part of the VFS, which is to actually go to the neighbors. I'm disappointed in you. People on the chat, you could have told me. So the new neighbors are well, all of the moves from XY. To all of the possible headings. So map move, it's called P, to all of the headings, which I called yours for whatever reason. And to all of those, I add a range of d+1, right? Am I sending a torpedo? I might have. I totally have. Let's check that. He lost a life around here, and he lost a life around here. Is that because of me sending a torpedo? This looks like I sent a torpedo. Torpedo 110. Opponent is in 110. Just tell me. Come on. Fuck that thing. Okay, well, this could be not that bad actually. Let's try and submit this and get a better insight. Yeah, well, that's better than Sunday, isn't it? This might end up totally non-ridiculous. Where's my pleb? Yeah, so we did that. We're not doing that yet. That's something we're gonna have to do. in the end, but for now, tell me more about my ranking. I'm probably still crashing when I get to the surface, and I should take care of that in the end. This is probably going to be my biggest problem now. I see matchups everywhere and my ranking never moving, but is that a bug in the site? Or am I only worth that much? Ah, that's much better. So 90. The obvious thing I would need to correct pretty fast now is what happens when I do not have an option. Let's take one here, one of my losses. So those would be those where I time out. Could I have the result here instead of timeout? That's the one. Show me that. So timeout most likely means I do not have an option. That's exactly it. And I crash because I have not implemented that yet. So the obvious thing here is do not crash. That's completely stupid. Instead of crashing, just do surface. So how does that part work? Surface, output, surface, just output surface. And when you have, you're not gonna move, and you're gonna need to reset your trail, and my life is gonna be given back to me. So let's do that. Head, head, where's my head? Here we go, selected destination. I might not have one. What happens if I don't? Well, in that case, I'm not gonna use head. I'm gonna use some kind of a safe head, which I'm not sure exists. Safe head, safe head. Do you have a safe head? for me, somewhere in the base packages, preferably. Base, base, base. Of course not. They have something that takes a list of A and returns a maybe A. That list to maybe, of course it is. So instead of taking the head, I'm gonna take list to maybe of that, which might end up in a surface. It's not giving me a compile error yet, which is kind of bad because I do not want to be showing us this maybe. Move action. So selected this. If it's a nothing, my action is going to be surface. If it's some kind of move, so it's heading, then show it and load up on the torpedo. That's not enough. I do need to reset my current trail. So new trail. If I'm going to the surface, the new trail is the archipelago. Otherwise, it's the trail. Something like that. So I'm rerunning the same code just to check I'm not crashing at the same place. That game goes a lot further and I win it. So let's speed it up, but watch it because, come on, it's good for my mood. So bumping myself into a corner here. Gonna do the stupid thing again. Ooh, I thought I wanted to go left. Well, okay, why not? He's shooting all over the place. And for some reason I won. Well, let's submit that. This could be not as ridiculous as the previous submit. What gives? Win, 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 win. Well, that's not too shabby, is it? A perfect first 10. And 11. And 12. Ooh, seems I'm going to be shooting out of Woodwood 2 here. Undefeated. Yeah, skip me to gold already. No defeats in 15. In 16. In 17. I'm getting excited now. 17 undefeated. Well, this might just as well pass. I'm confident. 30, yeah, and rising. Just get in front of Bonsai. Here you go. Take that. Let me nag him for a minute. Well, let's take this opportunity to commit. Ah, the boss is resisting. But yeah, in my experience, that doesn't mean much. If I'm better than all the ones around it, that could be enough. Oh, come on, who are you and why are you resisting? Joe, get lost. Yeah, okay, but how behind the boss is this? Oh, quite a lot actually. Ooh, that's not enough. Ow, that's the shitty position. I do not have the motivation to do anything much more involved tonight. Nope, nope, nope. Let's give it just a bit of time to adjust to the fact that I should actually be better than the boss because come on, I've given it the time. Mm, stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. And it's stable and it's not enough, so I'll do the lame thing and just submit again. Because come on. You've borne with me all that time. You know it should pass. And it will. Ah, that boss still beats me. But this is a much better start than the previous one. So I'm totally confident this one is the good one. Come on, boss, stop beating me. I don't care, I don't need you. All I need is to be better than the rest of the neighborhood, which I am consistently, kinda. Ow! Who's that? Get lost, jerk. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. He's still got a few points. Ow, ow. Emanuele, not now. I cannot count of just beating the boss. That was way too fast. This is depressing. Stabilize, stabilize, but move further upwards, please. Yeah, this is depressing. This is totally worth another try. Because this deserves to pass. Or maybe I could, before I do that, take a look at one defeat and get an impression of what's wrong with it. Huh? What happened here? Timeout? Ooh, that's a bug. Yeah, erase, that's a bug. I should not have any timeout condition now. Yeah, go directly to the timeout. Irrefutable pattern line down high 4. Oh, that's interesting. Opponent did something I did not expect. What did it do? It sent a torpedo and did not move? How is that allowed? I did not think that was allowed. Each turn. Oh, interesting. So if he torpedoes, he's not obligated to move. Good to know. Well, let's fix that. Live and learn. So this was a false assumption here. It is possible that he simply does not move. Well, let's remove the just part out of that, I hope. Oh, I'm using it here too. I'm gonna have to update for that. So first turn, so if it's the first turn, yeah, whatever. If he did not make an interesting decision, which means and otherwise it's from just yeah, that's totally ugly. Let's do it differently. Case. Decision, not decision. And this one's the tough one. Opponent cover. If the opponent did not make a decision, then it doesn't move. So first turn, previous cover, first turn, or didn't make a decision. From just, yeah, I'm gonna make another case then. It's gonna be cleaner. So nothing when first turn, and this one's gonna be the other case. Else. So got nothing. Same case. And got one. Indent, indent. Here we go. Compiles, does not end in an irrefutable pattern, which means it's a better thing to submit. How does this look? Good, 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 good. So current streak to beat is 17 for now. 13 and running, 14, 15. Ah, shit, only 14. tell me it's not a timeout. It isn't. Suits me. You still around? Yeah, still not totally good, boss. Lost life is good enough. No, I just don't want to be timing out. Lost life is good enough, but 28 rounds is kind of fast. Okay, well this is kind of better than usual, but the boss is even better than that, which is depressing. Do I have any good idea of what's going wrong here? What do the defeats say? Why is he the one shooting at me? He gets perfect shots. Yeah, yeah, he does. I'm kind of unhappy leaving you with that. Let's try this one. Hmm. Yeah, well, submit again because come on. I'm out of obvious things. The rest is a much bigger scale strategy. What's remaining to me now? That guy's shooting all over but never on me. Yeah, that's not very smart. What I really should try to be doing now is stay underwater for a longer time, which really isn't that hard. It's just picking a better direction all the time. What else could be improved? Easily enough for a stream. No, really, that's the biggest one for now. By far. Let's write it down in the plab. Well, I am doing something interesting with it. What I would like to be doing additionally, this I'm not doing yet. And yeah, well, it's actually out of the plan. Move more smartly. Huh, is smartly cover the map? Or is smartly don't be predictable? That is actually very non-obvious. Because in Wood 2, torpedoes is what kill you. Torpedoes and indiscretions. Oh, now even Bonsai's getting me. Ow, that hurts. Yet I am gonna have to do something about it. I do have to assume this is Wood 2, so people are not tracking my moves that closely. Win, 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 but not the boss, but that's no biggie. Well, until it becomes it. What's my rankings? Depressing. Okay, I'll deal with it. I mean, this is good enough to be able to make it during the night. Ow! Get back up there. 1.5 to the boss, that's tough. I think that's more than enough. I've lost everything. I've probably got 0 viewers anyway now. But yeah, I do know where I'm gonna have to push to make it out of there. Well, any questions in the stream chat now? You got 10 minutes while I'll get my new beer around, feeling that we're done. Am I even able to put an overlay that doesn't stay around for too long? Well, that's not. That's better. Do I have a beer emoji around? Give me beer. Beer mug. Fine with that. Haha, give me a font that actually has those. Nope. Nope. That's not exactly perfect. Fourth. That sucks. Okay. Out for those. Be right back. Okay. Well, nobody's left, and this code definitely does not want to win. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna submit a last time. I'm not changing the code anymore. I'm committing before your very eyes and getting rid of it. What did I even change around here? Oh, this. I need to keep just a minute. Sorry, my bad. Where was my? What did I change here? What am I doing? Mm, mm, mm. That's plans. Do something. Yeah, I fixed the bug, didn't I? Yes, I had the case where the opponent only shot a torpedo and did not do anything with it. Something like that. Here, not touching anymore. Okay, well, I hereby promise all I'm gonna do now is just submit it until it passes. And apart from that, since nobody of you are here anymore, I'm just gonna end the stream now. Good night, people, and wish my dumb bot luck. See ya.